and welcome to No Broken Legs. I am your host, Evan Belfiore. Joining me on the phone on this pretty chilly Saturday night is Jimmy Champ. Jimmy, how are you tonight?
Man, I'm great. I can't wait to see how good the Colorado Rockies get in the next 9 games.
Well, Depodesta has shown he can do this for baseball. He has never proven he can do this for football, but
No.
the Browns apparently needed 10 years to figure that out. That's the news. Paul Depodesta will no longer be on the Cleveland Browns as the chief strategy officer for winning, I believe, along with some other superfluous nonsense was his title. They were, I believe, 55-99-1, so he escaped the 100th loss.
Yeah.
This is the guy that orchestrated 1-31 so that they could win one playoff game and go to the playoffs twice. Clearly, his tenure is rife with failure. Just what are your thoughts on Depodesta's era, and is this a good thing, a bad thing? What are your thoughts on this for the Browns moving forward?
I mean, it has to be a good thing, right?
Well, it can't be a bad thing. I mean, if you want to see the Browns play meaningful football, then it's like a lot of things that we've said over the last, 26 years that the Browns have been back. Like, I don't know if the next guy is going to be better, but I know that guy isn't any good. So, you can find crappy guys everywhere.
Yeah, they've been very good at finding crappy guys, and Depodesta just wasn't right for... you just can't manage football by analytics, clearly. I mean, I think that's the main thing we learned.
Yeah, I think it's a lot easier to do this for baseball, where everything boils down to a bunch of individual events. Like, it's a pitcher starts off by throwing it, and that starts a play, and then you just have all these plays over this long course of a season, and it lends itself to the idea that you can, properly project, or I shouldn't say properly project what players are going to do, but properly quantize what players do. Like, attach a number to it and say, hey, this is the value that this player has. And in basketball, I think it works mostly because there's only 10 people on the court, 5 on each side, so you have way fewer variables. Now, when you take football into account, there's people all over the place. There's different schemes. A quarterback can look terrible if their left tackle can't block anybody. So it's very difficult to just say, oh yeah, this player gets a number, and that is an accurate reflection of who they are. Which is why analytics, at its core, and what the Browns should be doing, is using it in conjunction with your scouts and your football people who understand that not everything in that number, not everything a player has is accounted for in that number. And one of the things that the computers do not seem to understand, and the people who are creating these algorithms and employing them don't seem to understand, is that NFL players, lo and behold, Jimmy, are human beings.
It's absolutely crazy, and I think you absolutely nailed it with the way you just explained it as to why it works for baseball and basketball, but doesn't work for football. I think you absolutely nailed it, and we've been seeing it. We've seen it for his entire tenure here in Cleveland that it was not going to work. I don't know if maybe he was given a nudge or if he just realized he needed to get away. Maybe he was ready to get back to baseball, what he was more comfortable with, right? We don't know. But I'm glad to see him go. I'm going to be honest about that. John Dorsey made a couple of mistakes and made a couple of good decisions. Mm-hmm. It's kind of hard to find the good in Depodesta's decision-making.
His biggest accomplishment would be... Well, the analytics people didn't want to take Baker, did they?
No.
I can't remember which, because that was one of the first civil wars that erupted, and that was Dorsey wanted Baker. Yep. And the analytic guys, I forget who they wanted. They probably wanted oh Jesus, I've forgotten his name. The guy from, was it Cal or UCLA that just got drafted by the Cardinals and is out of football?
Yeah, Josh Rosen was the analytical darling.
Yeah. Well, that's a swing and a miss. I think I guess So I'm of two minds on this. Obviously, Depodesta being gone is a good thing for the Browns. I don't think he's is. I think Darryl Ryder put it best. He's the chief strategy officer of winning for a team that doesn't win. That's a problem.
Yep.
It's just what comes next, because some of the things that I've heard make me just want to cringe, and like the idea that they would elevate Andrew Berry and then go hire a new GM, and it just like it sounds like, okay, good, you know, we're going to get Berry out of the GM role, but like Berry will be picking the guy who's going to be the GM because he's going to be taking over as the chief strategy officer of winning. And, you know, my reservation about that, Jimmy, is that when he was a GM of winning, he didn't do a very good job.
No, and I don't know, you know, I wonder now if Depodesta becomes the ultimate scapegoat for all of the problems.
I mean, like, he would be an easy guy to throw under the bus. He's already gone. He's going back to baseball. So if his name gets dragged in football circles, nobody's going to give a damn.
Nope.
Yeah, maybe he is. Do you think further dominoes fall after this? That's sort of the other thing that's out there that everybody's talking about. This usually is a prelude to additional firings. Do you think we see that? I don't think we see it in season, but what about after the season?
I mean, I still believe this is it for Kevin Stefanski. That's my opinion. I just think, you know, if he fought for Dylan Gabriel and the way he's performed, I have a hard time. I mean, he's supposed to be an offensive guru, and he's had to give up play calling. Like, I think Stefanski's gone at the end of the year.
I mean, I would have not given them extensions. I would have, like, year 5, I would have let them play for their jobs, which would have been last year, and they won 3 games. So I would have fired them last offseason. Fired the whole lot of them. Berry would have been gone, Depodesta would have been gone, Stefanski would have been gone, and I would have just started new. I am of the mind that Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry are staying, and they'll be back next year. I don't agree with that decision. I don't think Kevin Stefanski's done anything as a Browns coach that makes us say he's gotten the most out of his players. I have a hard time finding players that he's gotten the most out of. That's what really...
Yeah.
That's the thing that I don't understand when people talk about Stefanski is... like, you see the product on the field and you go, I thought this guy was good at offense, and his offenses seem to always struggle. Yep. And we've seen Baker be good elsewhere, and we've seen Flacco do what he did in 2023. He's doing it now for Cincinnati. So Jacoby Brissett actually looks better in Arizona than he did here.
Yep. I mean, yeah, you can point to so many places. But I agree with you. I think what you said is right. I don't think Andrew Berry is very good at picking talent. But Kevin Stefanski, there are very few points where we can point to a spot and say, man, that guy is overproduced or been better than expected. It's almost always the exact opposite. So then I do wonder what that's like for maybe Andrew Berry is picking the right offensive players, but Kevin Stefanski doesn't know how to coach them up.
But Jimmy, then it's everybody's fault, so it's nobody's fault, and everybody gets to stay because this is the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, it works out really well.
It'll be really interesting to see how the fan base reacts if Andrew Berry gets promoted after what we've seen over the last 6 years. That would just be wild to me. Talk about failing your way up.
Yeah, now, do you 100% feel like that position is a promotion for Andrew Berry?
Yeah, he'll be in charge of everything.
Yeah, you're right.
He'll be the chief. He'll be the only person he answers to will be Jimmy Haslam.
Yeah, and like you said, he'd be hiring the person replacing it. So I don't know what we expect there. So yeah.
I mean, if he hires GMs like he picks players, then that's probably not going to go very well.
Yeah.
That's just I hate it. Like I would like the Browns to be good. You would like the Browns to be good. It would just be more fun.
Yeah.
And it's fun getting to bet on the Cleveland Browns to be good as opposed to betting on them to be bad. And I think that's the big difference between us and a lot of Browns fans is that they look at this through rose-colored glasses. like wanting something to happen and hoping something can happen. And,
Yeah.
oh, if these 27 things that aren't going to happen
Yes.
actually
Yes.
do happen, then the Browns could be good.
Yes.
And it's, we you look at it as a gambler and you're like, they suck.
Yes.
Like,
And
this is
that's
the
the thing,
long
and
and
that-
short
but I
of
mean,
it.
That's the thing we talked about. Other than the injured year with Baker, we were very happy. Like, do we want the Browns to win a Super Bowl? Yeah. Is it cool if they're just like 500 and not a laughing stock? Yeah, we're good with that too.
Yeah, that would be nice. It would be nice to see them not be an embarrassment.
Yeah.
That was the big thing, and that was what we talked about a lot following 2021 when Baker was hurt. Just look, you were going to ride it out anyway. Just one more year. He'll probably be the same guy he is for the most part in 2020, and then you franchise tag him, or you do the whatever Washington did with Kirk Cousins. Like, you have to be decent. You can't win by losing. I can't believe I have to say those words as frequently as I do around Browns fans. You don't get better by losing.
No.
And another team, and the team they're playing this weekend is a great fucking example of that, because the New York Jets have been awful for a long time too.
Yeah.
And they just had a wholesale, they just had a total fire sale. They get rid of Sauce Gardner. They get rid of Quentin Williams. Hey, what was your reaction to those trades, Jimmy?
I mean, I think it was smart. I mean, I don't really think Sauce Gardner hasn't really played that well.
I felt
Sauce
like
Gardner,
they may have the Indianapolis may have overpaid for that a little bit.
And the Cowboys absolutely overpaid for Quentin Williams.
But from Dallas's standpoint, I don't understand. They basically traded Micah Parsons for Quentin Williams and like a second round draft pick or something like that. It just didn't make sense that you would get rid of Micah and then bring in Quentin Williams, who's also older. But Jerry Jones, he doesn't know what he's doing either when we talk about crazy owners. But do you think there's a possibility that this Jets defense could be better now without those high paid players? That maybe they get some other guys in there that are hungrier and that shows on the field?
Yes.
Yeah, I think this is a really scary game for the Browns. I think this is a really scary game for the Browns because it's a game they should win. You look at it on paper and you say they should win. And we've been doing this now for 5 years. And in that situation, the Browns usually lose.
Yeah, I mean, I'm terrified. I'm terrified of this game.
The Browns traveling to New York. They're 1.5 point favorites. What the hell is going to happen, Jimmy?
Better win this game by 10 points.
You think the Browns win by 10 points?
They better.
I mean, losing Sauce Gardner doesn't change the line for me for the Jets because the Browns don't throw to their wide receivers, so that's inconsequential. Losing Quentin Williams does. The pressure he can cause up the middle can make Dylan Gabriel bail, and he always goes the one direction, and the defense just goes that way, and he's not good enough anyway. So I really think it comes down to what the Browns can do against Justin Fields, and I think you're right. They should just absolutely dominate Justin Fields because he's not a very good quarterback.
No, I mean, defensively, I wouldn't even be surprised if they get a defensive score, and then this should be another game where Quinshon Judkins just goes bananas. They should be able to run all over the Jets' defense. But I also think with what the Jets are going through, I can absolutely see Kevin Stefanski trying to have Dylan Gabriel show off and throw the ball all over them.
That was something I hadn't even taken into consideration when I was thinking about how scary this game is. That would be such a Kevin Stefanski thing to do.
Because he's got, if the rumors and everything is true that, Gabriel is Stefanski's guy, I mean, he's got to be tired of all this noise, and he's got to be thinking, the Jets have absolutely packed it in. I can do whatever I want. If this was one of those situations where they came out shotgun 5 wide to start the game, I would be not surprised at all. and I think it would be a terrible mistake.
Oh yeah, but I mean that's a mistake we've seen him do a lot.
That's true too.
Just flat out love the under in this game.
Yeah, yeah.
It's 37 and a half. It could be probably 25, and I'd probably still take the under.
Yeah, under's the way to go in this one for sure. I just don't see, like, the Browns' defense is still top-notch. They're a top-10 defense. The little resurgence the Jets' offense has had, they're not going to have against the Browns' defense. So, but I also don't know how many points the Browns are going to score on the Jets' shitty defense. So, yeah, I agree with you. The under is absolutely the best bet in this game.
Yeah, I'll go with you. I am picking the Browns to win this game because there's no way. I don't see a path for the Jets to win this game other than the Browns being the Browns. Which is why it is scary.
Yeah, no, to me it's terrifying because I cannot imagine what the local and the national thoughts are if the Jets have a fire sale that I think was actually, like I said, I think it was sneakily smart. They got rid of two players one who's not going to fit their long-term goals and another who's not playing that well. But if you lose to the Jets in this situation, you may have to fire Kevin Stefanski after the game.
Yeah, the fans will not be happy if they lose this game because now you're looking at the schedule and the Raiders still look awful and Tennessee looks awful, but those are probably your only two winnable games left on the schedule after J.J. McCarthy came back to life. We'll talk about that game here in a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to think. Everything you said just makes perfect sense. They should be able to run on the Jets. And even if the offense is as anemic as it has been with Dylan Gabriel under center for 4 games, they should be able to manufacture enough points. The defense, this is really the type of game the defense should pitch a shutout.
Yeah, do you think...
But man, again, they're not consistent on the road.
You really want to take the Jets, don't you?
Yeah, I really want to take the Jets. I really want to take the Jets money line.
Oh my goodness! Oh, that's crazy. Do you think it makes any difference with Stefanski not calling plays?
I don't know. It didn't last year.
Yeah, that's true.
And look, all respect to Tommy Rees. We'll see what he can do. But the fact that everybody starts out everything with telling me how smart he is, just antennas up.
Yep.
Like, okay, that's fine. He's really smart, but does he know how to call plays?
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, this is a fascinating game. We'll see what it looks like because the Browns are coming off the bye. They should be rested. They should be able to dominate on defense. The Jets just got rid of 2 high-priced guys. This is a really big moment for... oh my God, I'm totally spacing on their coach's name, Jimmy. Aaron Glenn?
Aaron Glenn, yep.
This is a really big moment for Aaron Glenn. Can he bring his team together and go out there and play a really tough game? Because if they do, I think that bodes well for the future in New York because that would tell you, all right, they got a guy. They got a coach. Yep. I don't know how good he can be, but he's a guy that's going to get the most out of the players he has there and be able to motivate them. And now it's up to whatever happens at GM, or if the owner's making the picks, who knows? That's another bad ownership situation. They've got a ton of picks, so they got a lot of bullets in the gun. They'll probably hit on at least 1 or 2 of those, and that makes them probably a mediocre AFC team. If they can hit on a quarterback, then maybe they become contenders. We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into the games. We have an early game, Jimmy, because Atlanta and Indianapolis are playing in Berlin, Germany. The Colts are 6.5-point favorites. The Colts have just destroyed mediocre teams, Jimmy, and if there's a team that exemplifies mediocrity, it is the Atlanta Falcons. Yeah. So I know it's going to be wet and rainy, I think is the forecast over in Berlin. That's that slows down the passing, but that's better. That means they're going to give the ball to Jonathan Taylor more, and that's really how Indianapolis is winning games, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think, last week they actually had to play a little against a barely varsity defense, and it turned into 6 turnovers for them. Like, The Colts
Yeah, it
were
was
not.
bad.
They were very, very bad last week, but a little bit of a weather game against, like you said, a mediocre team. It should be a good day for Dagum Taylor, and the Colts should be right back on track.
Up next, we have the Buffalo Bills coming off a big win against Kansas City. They're traveling south to Miami to take on the Dolphins. Bills are 9-point favorites here, Jimmy. And this feels like a bet you've been making a lot lately where I would pick the Bills to win and the Dolphins to cover. What are your
Yep,
thoughts here?
yep, exactly. I like that as well. I, I'm a little nervous about taking the over. I really want to take the over too and make it a three-way on the game. But
That's a lot of points.
it's a lot of points, but it's probably going to come from one side. But
Well, I think
like
this
that,
is a big letdown situation for Buffalo. They just coming off that big win
yep,
and traveling south. You're on the road. Their
yep,
defense isn't really all that great, but Miami's offense has had issues, so there's a lot of this is oddly a game that could be like 42-35 and it could also be 20-14.
yeah. But yeah, I definitely like Miami to cover and the Bills to win. I think that's a very good same game parlay. Get pretty good odds on that. That's a nice place to start the week.
Yeah, you're getting plus 185. Wow, positive odds for that.
Yeah.
I like it. You like it. Book it. The Chicago Bears are hosting the New York Giants. Bears are 4.5-point favorites. I still don't know what to make of this Bears team. Do you still think they're just... I think the team might be good, and Caleb Williams just isn't.
I think Caleb is still middle, but I think the team is okay. They've got pretty good scheme on both sides of the ball. I think they're better than the Giants, so I do like the Bears to be able to cover this spread.
Giants also losing... having that bad injury happen, and now Jackson Dart's getting later into the season, so he's been playing a bunch of games. Just as a rookie, you would expect him to start to wear down. So I think the Jets are in for a long descent for the rest of the season with a lot of eyes towards next year. And they just had that crushing loss. Was that to New Orleans? 2 weeks ago. I think that was the same thing that happened to Chicago last year, and now they're playing each other, ironically. So I'm with you. I think Chicago should cover this. I think New York's we're in how hard do they play, how close can they keep things, what does Jackson Dart look like, and then we'll see what happens with Daboll after the season.
Yeah, I think Daboll's probably going to stick around, but yeah, I just think the Bears are just the more talented team.
Yeah, absolutely. Up next, we have... Excuse me. Up next, we have the Baltimore Ravens traveling to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. Baltimore looked pretty good last week. They've got a little extra rest. But Jimmy, what was that J.J. McCarthy shit going on, man? He looked like a real NFL quarterback.
Hey, I told you, man. I called that game last week, man. J.J. McCarthy, I don't think he's a great quarterback, but I think the weapons around him are good enough that if he's just a middle quarterback, the Vikings can win games.
What do you think happens here?
The defense is really good on that side of the ball. So, I don't think like J.J. McCarthy wasn't doing anything super special, just getting the ball out on time to the right spots, and it worked.
I like Baltimore here, but I don't love it. This may be the type of game that I just take Baltimore on the money line because I think they're the better team and they should win. But that McCarthy performance last week really has me scared to bet against the Minnesota Vikings because he doesn't always have to be that sharp because of how good those receivers are.
Yeah, exactly. Like he just doesn't. He doesn't have to be. It's nice when he is, but I agree with you. He doesn't have to be. But the only reason I don't like the points. I agree with you. I like the Ravens money line, and really the only reason I really like the Ravens money line is just Lamar versus NFC.
Yeah. So here's a simple parlay that I'll probably bet on Baltimore to win this game, put it in some parlays, and then I'm going to probably throw a little money on a J.J. McCarthy 2 touchdowns, 220 yards. That's plus 190 right now at Caesars.
Yeah, that's
against what we think is probably a really bad Baltimore defense.
Yes.
Or at least mid.
Yeah, I mean, they got a couple pieces back, but I don't think it's enough to make them good.
Yeah, and that's your Super Bowl team, man. That's a bummer.
Well, I mean, hey, the player I thought that was going to put them over the edge, they got rid of for nothing. So, but
Yeah.
they got, but so, but it's that's that thing. Football is just so different than baseball and basketball.
Yep.
It's not. It doesn't always get to be just plug and play. So,
Absolutely. Up next, pretty big AFC South game between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Houston Texans. Jacksonville 1.5-point favorites on the road. Oh my God, Davis Mills. Davis Mills is starting for Houston. After that was it looked to me like a really cheap hit on CJ Stroud last week. I don't know if that's just the Buckeye in me, but it looked cheap to me.
No, it was 100% cheap, and I cannot believe they picked the flag up.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy because it looked like he was definitely sliding by then.
He was definitely sliding by then, and then they were like, the announcers were like, well, he wasn't hitting the head and neck area. Where the fuck else was he hit?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm going to get all fired up, man. That cost the Texans that game last week. They had the Broncos. No, CJ Stroud being out is a big deal, but I'm just because I want them to win, I'm taking the Texans to it. I think Davis Mills can do just enough against Jacksonville for Houston to come out on top. I like the Texans money.
Man, I got to be honest. You made me reconsider. I was just going to take Jacksonville, even though I'm just sitting here thinking, like, do you really trust Trevor Lawrence as a favorite on the road? And I don't. I'm going to go with you. I'm going to take Houston. There's a lot of home dogs this week, and some of them are going to win. And we just got to remember that.
Yeah, and and I'm curious, just like after the Seattle game, I think DeMeco Ryans, he's doing his team a disservice by not getting rid of his offensive coordinator and turning it over to anybody else on the staff. But he seems to be a great leader of men, and I'm very curious to see how the locker room responds. I'm very curious about that because I thought he would lose the locker room after the Seattle game, and he didn't. So I'm curious if the defense continues to fight the way they've been fighting. And if they do, I think even with Davis Mills, they're good enough to beat Jacksonville.
I hope you're right. I have Houston to win the AFC South. Not that I mean the Colts would have to fall apart, but at least give me a little hope moving forward.
Yeah.
Let's now move on to the worst 5-4 team I've ever seen in my entire life, the Carolina Panthers, who are hosting the New Orleans Saints, who are also just a really bad football team. The Panthers are 5.5-point favorites. They're going to beat New Orleans and be 6-4, and it's just going to be infuriating because they're terrible.
But are they going to beat New Orleans by 6 points?
Yeah, I think that Carolina defense plays really well at home, and they seem to be able to really run the ball well at home. So I can't believe I'm taking the Carolina Panthers as 5.5-point favorites. I would just encourage everybody out there, do not bet that.
I believe Tyler Shuck is getting his first start from New Orleans.
Yeah, good luck.
They've got that going on.
Yeah, maybe he is something, but you figure if he was something, we would have seen it already. We would have seen him earlier in the season because Spencer Rattler's just never really been the guy.
Yep. So I'm with you. The Panthers, more than with the points because I think they'll win, but I'm never sure by how many.
Yeah, I would. If you're going to bet this, I would take the money line and just keep your peace of mind.
Yeah, for sure.
Up next, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming off their bye, hosting the New England Patriots. The Buccaneers are 2.5-point favorites. This is a pretty sneaky big game. Both the New England Patriots are currently they're the 3 in the AFC as they're atop the AFC East. Tampa Bay obviously is looking very solid in the NFC South. No Bucky Irvin for the Buccaneers. What happens on Sunday with this one, Jimmy?
I believe Tampa Bay comes out on top on this one. I think the week off is big for them. Got them a little bit of rest, got a couple pieces back. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I actually like the under in this one, but I think Tampa gets the W here.
Yeah, that's my lean in this one. Tampa Bay's been playing really well. They have been getting some of their guys back. That's going to help them. Obviously, no Bucky Irving. But I also think New England's due for a loss. I know they're 7-2, but I don't see them being a team We thought they would be a playoff team, but I don't see them getting to 12, 13 wins, which means they're going to have to drop some games. This is a game I think they drop.
Yeah, I still love what they're doing, but I agree with you. I think they come out on the losing side on this one.
Up next, the Seattle Seahawks are hosting the Arizona Cardinals. They're 7-point favorites. Kyler Murray is out. Jacoby Brissett and Tyrod Taylor are basically the same guy.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray is out. Jacoby Brissett is in. He's looked pretty decent in that role, throwing to those really talented receivers. Can Arizona keep this close, Jimmy?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think Seattle's just good.
Yeah, Seattle is exactly the kind of defense that Jacoby Brissett cannot play well against. I think Seattle's going to heat them up all day. I think Seattle wins this by a couple touchdowns.
Yeah, I had some success last week. It's been hit or miss, but when you play the bigger spreads, you're getting better odds. So hitting 40% of those is actually really good.
Yes.
I've had a lot of success with some of these games, and this is a game I'm going to look at to see what it looks like at 13.5, because I think Seattle's just that much better. I might do the same thing with Indianapolis, because I don't think Atlanta's very good either.
Yeah, no, I think that's very, very good. You know, Seattle's rolling. The NFC West, one of the better conferences in the game. I do think the Rams are a little bit better than Seattle, just because I think if it comes down to their quarterback has to make a play, I'm taking Stafford. But I think Seattle's really good. They've got a good mix, offense, defense, a lot of good playmakers on both sides of the ball. And I think this little fairy tale Jacoby Brissett run will come to a crashing halt.
Up next, the Detroit Lions are traveling to Washington to take on the Armada. Detroit, once again, are 8-point favorites, and once again, I'm going to take Detroit and probably take a higher line, too, because I think they're just better than Washington, and I think they ran into a Minnesota team that, you know, division games can be really wild. It looks like Minnesota had really planned for that game, so kudos to you, sir.
Yeah, and, you know, there's also there's not a lot of tape on J.J. McCarthy yet either.
True.
So, you know, there's that part, too, where you don't really know what he can do on an NFL field. I think this is a really bad week to play for the Washington football team. Detroit is going to want to get that taste out of their mouth. This is probably one of those games where they score 50 and the defense steps up and plays good. I think Detroit by a lot in this one.
Yeah, I like the over here, too. Up next, the Los Angeles Rams are 5.5-point favorites on the road against San Francisco. The Rams are better, but they still scare me when it comes to betting lines because I think they're not worried about that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I don't think Sean McVay gives a crap how much he wins by. I also think there's a little bit with him of maybe holding some stuff back during the regular season as well.
Yeah.
So this is another one where I like the Rams to win, the 49ers to cover, and the under in this one.
Yeah, I like that whole bet. Up next, the Los Angeles Chargers are, quote unquote, hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers. They are 2.5-point, quote, home unquote favorites. The stadium's going to be filled with Pittsburgh fans because that's what happens every time they play the Chargers.
Yep.
Does this count as a de facto home game for the Steelers in that when they're home dogs, we always bet them?
Kind of.
Yeah, it's also...
It's weird, but kind of, yes.
They looked really good last week against a team in Indianapolis that we don't actually think is as good as advertised. Do you think it's sustainable? Do you think they can carry that over into this week?
Yeah, I think a lot of what they did last week is what I thought their team was. So that was one game last week. I don't think me or you were surprised at all.
No, I was all over Pittsburgh. I had Pittsburgh in the under, and I had Pittsburgh. I don't know. I teased it up. I forget what I teased it up to in one of the bets that I made.
Like, maybe I was a little surprised by how much they got up by at one point, but I wasn't surprised by that at all. And I think the Steelers are better than the Chargers. Like, I like the Steelers here, man.
Yeah, they're good this year. It's really aggravating. Our final game of the week sees the Philadelphia Eagles traveling to Green Bay to take on the Packers. This is a game between the two best teams in the NFC, at least the consensus two best teams in the NFC. Green Bay coming off just a brutal loss to Carolina, so clearly they were looking ahead. Do you think they can make good on being the favorites here against the defending Super Bowl champions?
I'm going with no. I think their problems from last week and some injuries they've got going on are going to carry over, and I think the Eagles are going to win this game soundly.
Yeah, I think the Eagles are going to win this game. I obviously think they're going to cover. I like the overs at 45.5. I like that. I think we're going to see the whole spectrum of Jordan Love. I think he's going to make some plays that make us go, wow, if he plays like that, this team can't be stopped en route to a Super Bowl. And he's going to make other plays that remind us of that just god-awful interception he threw to Grant Delpit, where, I mean, he just literally threw it right to the defender.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, that loss was bad last week, and I'm starting to get a little bit worried about LaFleur's play calling. Like, I think he's got some really talented players on offense that he's not using correctly, and I wonder if the reason he's not using them correctly is because he's trying to protect his quarterback.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, you drafted some stretch-the-field, downfield wide receivers, and you only throw them the ball 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
That sounds like an offense, I know.
Yeah. We're familiar with how this looks, so I'm getting a little worried about the Green Bay Packers. And I just think the Eagles, and I agree with you, I think the Eagles will soundly win this game.
Yeah, I like that. Let's see. So this is what, week 10, 11? What week are we in? Jesus. Week 10. So this is week 10. We're past the halfway point. Most teams have had their byes. Who do you think is the best team in the AFC?
Right this minute, because of the win last week, I'm going to say the Buffalo Bills. I still think the Kansas City Chiefs are the best team in the AFC because they've got the weapons and because the Ravens' defense is underperformed. But with that really dominant performance last week, right at the moment, I'm going to say the Buffalo Bills.
I still think Kansas City is the best team.
That's fair.
Like, I just do. Until proven otherwise, none of these teams have been better than them. How about the NFC?
Right at this moment, just because of how they're playing, I'm going to take Seattle.
Wow. Sam Darnold.
I don't think Seattle will be the best team in the NFC at the end of the year, but I want to give them the credit they deserve right now.
Wow. I still think it's Philadelphia. I know they've had their ups and downs, and they've had their hiccups here and there, and that just seems to be their style. But they're just really good. They've got so much talent all over that roster, and when it comes time for the playoffs, I have no doubt that they're going to bring their A games.
Yeah, I mean, I think now I'm starting to wonder too. Like, will Seattle get to host a playoff game? Because that'll make a difference. I still think the Rams will be better than them, and I agree. I think Philadelphia and Tampa are both will be better than them, but right now, man, Seattle is just on a heater.
Yeah, they do. They're just playing really good football. It's better than I expected, and Sam Darnold's looked really good there, and that defense has been playing fantastic.
Yep.
All right, well, we'll watch the games tomorrow and see if Armageddon... Oh, go ahead, Jimmy.
Do you think... I know we both feel the same way about them. Do you think we really need to reevaluate Indianapolis and Denver, or do we just know they're a first and second round exit in the playoffs?
Oh, I'm very much on them being first, second round.
Okay.
I mean, if they get the right matchup or maybe they play each other, I can see one of them advancing to the second round. But I don't see any of those teams beating, if they get in Baltimore, beating Buffalo, beating Kansas City. I do not see that happening.
Okay.
And I mean, even Pittsburgh, I feel like is better than them, and we just saw it.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way.
Well, that's it, man. That's week 10.
Yeah, a couple really big games this week, and
we'll see if Armageddon befalls the Cleveland Browns.
That's, it's so scary, man. This is like a watch with one eye open kind of game.
Yeah, it's just a scary game. It makes you, as a Browns fan, really nervous because you know what it means if they lose, and it might be good if they lose, but you don't win by losing, as I said earlier. So it's just across the board not very good. Well,
Yep.
Jimmy, thanks for joining me to talk some football. I guess it's been fun to talk about what Depodesta didn't do while doing it. And we'll maybe get to do it again for Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski later in the season. We'll see. We'll see how tomorrow goes. So thanks for joining me to talk football tonight, brother.
No place I'd rather be, brother.
And I want to thank all of you for listening. For Jimmy Champ, I'm Evan Belfiore. Thank you for listening to No Broken Legs.